GhostsnDJs is a satirical 16-bit style throwback title that was released on Steam on February 6, 2020, and is a loving homage to the Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts games. It was developed by house musician Dr. Kucho and is free to play. GhostsnDJs is set in a parallel universe where music is being overrun by fake DJs that are making music by getting someone else to write their tracks and are just doing it for the love of money. Dr. Kucho is the protagonist who wants to save the music industry from these fake DJs and set things right. Gameplay for the game feels just like Ghouls and Ghosts to me, which is already a great thing because that was my favorite game in the Ghost series. Dr. Kucho starts the game armed with cassette tapes that he can throw, and he can also pick up other weapons along the way, like a pen drive, vinyl records, and CDs. Vinyl and CDs were my favorite to use. To me, the CDs were like the knife weapon of the game. They were really fast and accurate. My least favorite was the pen drive. It has a nice spread and can do a lot of damage, but it's also super slow, and I wound up getting myself hit over and over while using it. Enemies are always spawning throughout the game's 3 stages, and the higher the difficulty setting, the more of them there are. By the last difficulty setting, the screen is just filled with enemies to a frantic degree. The enemies range from simple ones that run around the screen like zombies trying to knock you over, flying enemies that try to swoop in on you, enemies that rain lightning down on your head, some that try to punch you, some that sing to you and try to control you with their bullshit music, and even witches that fly around on brooms and try to blow kisses at you. Dr. Kucho really never gets a moment's peace in this game. The game stages take place in 2 different areas, the city and the forest. The city area has plenty of buildings to climb via fire escapes and places to explore for items. In addition to weapons that can be found in crates throughout the stages, there are also health and point items. Health items include beer, cheese, and sushi, and point items include things like mixer boards and keyboards. Another thing that can be found in the crates is the mask of DJ Deadmau5. It acts much like picking up gold armor in Ghouls and Ghosts. It gives Dr. Kucho the ability to throw out Yin Cat, who runs around with a trailing rainbow and destroys enemies rather effectively. Having this power up made some sections so much easier. There are leaderboards for the game, so trying for a high score can definitely add to the excitement of exploring. At the time of writing this, I was number 2 under Dr. Kucho in the leaderboards, so that was pretty cool. The city levels have neat little touches like enemies throwing stuff at Dr. Kucho from their windows, or enemies spawning out of drain pipes or water towers. The forest stage is a nice change of pace with a bit more platforming, some new enemies like mushrooms that spawn enemies if they aren't destroyed quickly, and a boss fight. I love the atmosphere so much in the forest stage that I was actually kind of sad when after beating the boss, the game was over. I still haven't beaten it on the hardest difficulty yet, so I don't know what kind of ending that nets the player, but I'm interested in finding out. The graphics for the game are really well done, and remind me so much of another homage to the G&G series called Cursed Castilla. GhostsnDJs is built with the Unity game engine, and everything in terms of graphics runs really smoothly, but don't expect a lot of graphical options to play with. I really like some of the little things that the game did, like some scrolling going on in the background, and the fact that animations like Dr. Kucho's jump reminded me so much of the G&G games. He really nailed the look and feel of this game. The controls are simple with just using 2 buttons other than using the D-pad for movement. One is for jumping and the other is for throwing projectiles. Dr. Kucho can not only throw weapons in front of him, but also above and below him. If he didn't have this ability, then the game would be insanely difficult. There are a few small things that I noticed that were a little buggy, or I would have changed a bit. One thing is after taking a long fall, after Dr. Kucho stands up, I couldn't throw a projectile. This was fixed once I jumped again, but I thought it was weird that it would sometimes happen. This really got me in a few tricky situations, or just got me outright hit. The other thing that I would have changed a bit was there was a section where tons of enemies are spawning in from all over the place, and there was a pipe in the middle of the area. And jumping while throwing projectiles upward at the flying enemies would result in Dr. Kucho grabbing the pipe. I wish this battle would have been put in a more open area where this wouldn't happen, but that's really just a minor gripe. The sounds and music in this game are really great. Everything is nice and chill, with music being available from both Dr. Kucho and Deadmau5. I have no complaints with the sound and music because nothing was shrill or annoying. So, would I recommend GhostsnDJs? Yeah. If you're a fan of retro action platformers, then you'll probably dig this, especially because it's free. Yeah, it's very short, but I think with it being free, no one can really complain about that. I really had a good time with this game, and I plan on going back to beat the rest of the difficulties I have left and see what score I can get. There's also an option on the main menu that allows you to donate money to help kids who are in the hospital so they can have ways to play video games and have a little bit of fun. So if you're looking for something to scratch that G&G itch, try this out.